Attention! I am Drill Sergeant Kale Spencer, and I'm pretty sure I can't be speaking this loud for the entire video because I can't do that. I'm sorry. Not even a whole sentence, and I'm already starting to fall apart with that kind of tone. What I was trying to say is I probably can't speak that loud for the whole thing because my sister's probably asleep. So yeah. But in case you couldn't tell, this is an episode about Pikmin, which for a while was my absolute favorite Nintendo IP of all time. Looking back, yeah, Zelda and Mario probably executed better, but the ideas behind Pikmin are so different. I'm surprised there haven't been more games that have ripped it off. And every new Pikmin that comes out is better than the previous one by quite a large margin, and I'm hoping that can continue with Pikmin 4 coming this year. And to add more on top of that, so far, all three of the Pikmin have one hell of a home run of a foundation for the plot. Each one works. Like, Pikmin 1 is about a guy the size of your thumbnail that gets hit by an asteroid, crash lands on some sort of planet, and has to get the majority of his ship parts back so he can escape the planet and return to his family. Pikmin 2 is about a company that is 10,000 whatever's in debt, and they have to go around searching for treasures to lower said debt. And Pikmin 3 is about a planet whose inhabitants are low on supplies, and so a group of people go to another planet to try to get more of the food they need. Which, by the way, I don't know how many cups of food they end up with at the end of the game, but I'm pretty sure you'll need millions to get to the minimum amount of food needed to keep your planet from going extinct, but I digress. So once again, I'm hoping there's another sturdy foundation for Pikmin 4. I tried to get my sister into playing Pikmin, but she finds the Pikmin super cute, and the fact that they can die at any time from a monster or something, it was too much for her to bear, so she just decided not to play it, which I don't blame her. However, a lot of the games that I like, she doesn't want to play. It's not just Pikmin, it's like a lot of the games. I'm not here to judge, but it almost seems like you're avoiding my recommendation. But I do believe I've been rambling long enough. In this episode, I'm going to discuss how in the hell did some of Olimar's ship parts land in the places they landed in. For starters, anybody who's seen the opening of the game will know that Olimar is going at a pretty fast speed down towards the planet, and his ship parts are scattered all over the place. Probably starting from the exosphere, the very outer layer of the atmosphere of a planet. So, like, if we were to be scientific about all this crap, those ship parts could very easily be in all sorts of different places on that planet, and yet they all just happen to land on the same island that Olimar crash landed in. What the hell? I mean, yeah, I know it's a video game and it has to be convenient, because if this were too realistic, the search for these parts would not make a fun game. But if we were to use our imagination here, from an in-universe viewpoint, this does not make much sense. The whole idea behind the game is that Captain Olimar can't spend forever looking for these parts because he has a limited supply of whatever kind of air he breathes, and the air that this planet provides is toxic to him. So that equates to 30 days and 30 parts. Now, anybody familiar with Pikmin knows they don't have to get all those parts. It's mainly just the necessary ones, the ones that actually help the ship lift off. So, like, decorations are probably not going to be needed to leave the planet. However, though, the Libra and the Sagittarius, or however you pronounce that last one, from what I hear, they actually are required to beat this game. Because those were gifts from his children. And he works extra hard to not only get all the mandatory ship parts, but the gifts that his children gave him as well. Anybody who has beaten Pikmin 1 is guaranteed to have collected the main engine, which I'm arguing is the most important ship part ever. But the fact that day 1 does not end on a timer, like it goes on indefinitely until you get that ship part and bring it back to your ship, yeah, that means that that's one of the absolutely guaranteed parts you're gonna get in order to beat this game. And you just so happen to land right next to it. Again, I know this is a video game, but it still just doesn't compute. Pretty much all of your ship parts will fall under one of these categories. 1, they're out in the open. 2, they're on a really narrow and tall elevation that the chances of it actually landing there in real life are slimmer than the most narrow piece of floss you've ever used on your teeth. Or 3, they've been eaten by some sort of creature. That's basically the 3 scenarios where your parts can end up in. Now, the fact of the matter is that you use Pikmin, these little plant dudes, to carry your ship parts back to base. You use pellets and dead animal carcasses for them to bring back to their base to sprout more Pikmin. And 100 is the max for any of the Pikmin games, and I'm assuming that'll be the same for the 4th installment. If it weren't for these Pikmin's existence, then this would not be possible. You could not move any of these parts yourself, because the heaviest thing in the game requires about 40 Pikmin to carry, which is nearly half of how many Pikmin you can have out at all times. And I'm assuming Olimar does not have the strength of 40 Pikmin, so that just cancels that out. I don't know if now is a good time to mention this, but none of Olimar's ship parts have been damaged throughout the impact. They're all in perfectly clean condition. None of them have a scratch on them from falling from miles and miles and miles from the sky. It's kinda, silly ass. But who knows, maybe Olimar's skeleton of a ship has some sort of magnetic force that causes the ship parts to not spread out that far. I'm doubting that's the case, but if it is, so be it. But the thing that mystifies me the most is the Force Naval, which, by the way, whoever drew this artwork is amazing. I would love to see more of their crap. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and accept that all of these ship parts just so happened to land on the same island, even though they were falling from the exosphere and they would have been more spread out than that, but whatever, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But the Force Naval is a cave with a ceiling and everything. It's a pretty deep darn cave, and I don't see how any of the ship parts would fall into there. Like, when you first step foot inside the cave, there's a little bit of light shining on the opening, but the rest is just pretty freaking dark. What I'm saying is, there's this narrow opening, and there's like, 10 ship parts in the Force Naval? I don't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere around that. And each one of them landed in that hole and just bounced around from that point on and landed wherever in the Force Naval. Like I said earlier, I will give you the benefit of the doubt, but why is there a cave level at all? How would a ship part even land inside of a cave that has a whole freaking ceiling at the top? I mean, the cave could even be underground, which only makes my point even more valid. In fact, I'm willing to bet it is underground. Because in real life, there are above ground and underground caves all over the place. If they had just made this level another out in the open level like all the others, it would make a bit more sense. I mean, not really, but I would at least be more forgiving. But the fact of the matter is, these ship parts do not belong in a deep-ass cave. There's no way that would have happened in real life had this been a realistic situation. You want to let me know what you guys think about this sort of messed up paradox. It's just that Olimar has his work very easily cut out for him. Not in just Pikmin 1, but in Pikmin 2 as well. He's not in the 3rd game. I mean, he is, but you don't play as him. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the 2nd game has you collecting treasures. So it's not about trying to survive, it's about trying to pay off your debt, which if you ask me is probably less serious than life or death. I mean, I know it can equate to death if you don't have the right kind of money to pay for your stuff, but would you rather be fired or just stranded on an island and die? But the point is, in Pikmin 2, there's no limit on how many days you have to get those treasures. So technically speaking, you can't really lose in Pikmin 2. I mean, you kinda can, but there's no failure state like there is in the first game. There's no time limit to beat the game, which is how most games are, but in the Pikmin universe at least, I would expect there to have been say, a certain amount of days until you have to pay off the debt. Just like in the first game, maybe it could be 30 days or something to get all those treasures and pay off the debt. I don't know, I mean, they found a way to make the game work without that, but it's still kind of a weird decision. And there's enough treasures throughout that area for their company to not only pay off the 10,000 Pokos or whatever the hell it was, but there's also some more left over, allowing them to get rich after you've paid off the debt. What are the chances of you finding that many freaking treasures in your area? What I'm saying is, Olimar has it pretty damn easy for himself. In real life, you would be toast. That is, if you even survive Pikmin 1 to get back to your company for Pikmin 2 to take place. If I continue with this episode any longer, I'm gonna lose my mind, so that was this episode. I will see you guys later. Tin Hut!